Podium mic check, 1, 2.
Handheld check. Handheld mic check.
All right, good morning, everybody. How are you all today? Outstanding. It's good to see you all. My name is Corey Soto. I'm the Safety Risk Manager here at beautiful Paradise Valley Estates, and today's topic is going to be about fire safety, fire prevention, and what we do in the event of an evacuation. Now, we have some special guests here. We have Steve and Tyler from Fairfield Fire Department, and they're actually going to start this off today. So if you give them a great hand, welcome Steve and Tyler.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Stephen Conti. I'm the fire marshal for our Fine Department, Fairfield Fire. With me is one of my senior fire inspectors, Tyler Hayes, one of our rock stars out in the community. He does field inspections. He's out there on a day-in, day-out basis making sure our city's safe. So today, we're here for Wildland Fire Safety. Some of you here that were here last year. The lady in the front row that commented she doesn't care, we'd like your name and number. Anyways, so, what everybody knows, pay attention to the news. We could talk about inside, outside. I heard Corey mention some about your smoke detectors, so let's start with the obvious. Make sure that your smoke detectors, you're in a very safe community. One thing about Paradise Valley, to Corey, Nicole, everyone here, they stay on top of it. They always have. We have a great working relationship. You're definitely one of our most important communities, not to say that there are anyone's lesser around the city, but in terms of making sure your buildings are safe, fire sprinklers, fire alarms, exiting, your smoke detectors in your places of occupancy where you live. If you haven't changed your batteries annually for the 9-volt batteries, then you can buy 10-year lithium batteries now. Some of you may know that. And you put them up and you don't have to worry about them for 10 years. If they ever go off in your home, you don't know which one it is, go see which one's blinking red. That's your culprit. So a lot of times you can just push it, reset it. Sometimes you have to remove it. Sometimes the battery's dead. The other thing is a smoke detector cannot be any closer than 20 feet to a cooking appliance. So if there is one near your kitchen and you feel like that could be close and you've had problems, definitely remove that or call one of the safety staff here or even us, and we'll do what we can to assist relocating that. Fire extinguishers, you don't have to worry too much. They're throughout the building, but if you have one of them in your home, they are required to be inspected annually. And if you have them in your home and you don't know what to do, turn them upside down, take a rubber mallet, smack them, because usually they're a dry chemical. That'll loosen them up. But at the very maximum, 5 years, if you have them in your home, you should replace that. But we recommend annually. Wildland fire safety. So, our latest reports are the scariest they've ever been. We always hear it's going to be the worst season ever. It's always the worst, and the season is no longer seasonal. It's year-round. I don't think anybody here doesn't know that already. They said that our water supply is the worst it's been in 12 centuries. When you think of that, when I first heard that, I had a hard time processing centuries. I was a big water skier growing up, Shasta Lake, up in Redding, and just the lakes around, and the water supply is definitely scary. And then our fuels are the driest they've ever been in recorded history to the information we're getting. So how do we combat that? That's a tricky question, except the number one thing, Tyler's one of our weed abatement specialists, vegetation management. We are working with our public works department and our contractors, every stakeholder that could be involved, ensuring that the city of Fairfield's outlining boundaries, back of your fences, whether it's private, public, that we're trying our best to stay on top of that abatement. And that abatement is our ground fuels are 4 to 6 inches high. Our ladder fuels, tree branches hanging down, are supposed to be cut up to 6 feet. Doing so, as an example, with our aggressive abatement, and this is everyone that works and contributes to be commended for this, but during the LNU, we didn't lose one fence board. And that was because aggressive firefighting operations and prevention. That's our area of expertise. I've been doing it 30 years, and I could say that every year it definitely gets scarier. I was a fireman for a long time, and being in the prevention world is just as important. Tyler, again, runs our weed abatement program. So what we're doing for Paradise Valley is just, it's literally 24/7, 365 days a year, ensuring that we can do our best to make sure your areas of concern are abated and kept up to what we consider our weed abatement vegetation standards. Moving forward, the fire service is faced with what a lot of industries is a lack of staffing. We cannot get enough firefighters. We literally have a shortage in Solano County, surrounding the state, but the city of Fairfield does not. As I always say, in the event of a disaster, please, we can't stress enough, listen to your professionals. If we recommend you leave, do the best you can, take what you need, and get out and don't return. When in doubt, call 911 or call you. You have quite a communication system at Paradise Valley, so I'm not worried about the information getting out, whether it's a minor or major emergency. Any questions? I'll start right first row and we'll just work back.
Just generally, when you weed abate, and you have the detritus, when you do weed abatement, is the detritus that falls down, does that need to be removed?
Well, yeah, a lot of the dry fuel, stuff like that. So when we have our own contractor, and the contractor we have in the city is amazing, but whether it's disking or weed abatement, weed whacking, yeah, if you can have that removed, we recommend it. We try to do our best. Sometimes we'll have our company that does weed abatement abate in areas that we're responsible for or our contractor's been hired to do. If you see that it's been abated and that fuel or branch is laying on the ground, if you report it, trust me, it's already on our radar. Any of you that have called in to my number, reported it online, Acela, whatever avenue of communication you have, 9 times out of 10 we're aware of it. And one branch in an abated piece of, or an area, parcel, that's not a fire hazard to us. You have to remember that when even if it's 6 foot tall grass and there's some branch, we know about it, but if we're not abating that, why we can't be 100%, sometimes the areas that you may be concerned with, just trust me, it's not that major for us because we know if something happened, not only could we get there quick enough, but it's not going to burn enough. The areas that we can't get to, one of the things we're trying to do is get a chipper program and start a community program, and this will take easier said than done, where we literally go neighborhood to neighborhood and say, okay, let's do this whole community abatement, and we'll come and clean it all up, maybe annually. But Paradise Valley being one of the better ones, yeah, we're watching you every day. You're on camera. We're out here every day. Anyways, that answer your question?
Many of the homes here in PVE are adjacent to the golf course. Is that going to, will the golf course provide a barrier against fire?
That's a great question.
And the other answer, I mean, the other question related to that is, if that's true, then would those people living adjacent to the golf course have to evacuate at the same time other people who are adjacent to the hills have to evacuate?
So the first part of your question is the abatement is basically what's looked upon from city staff. If it's brought, they have an annual requirement maintenance agreement with all the golf courses. The only time that we get involved, if there's a concerned citizen that says, look, this is so egregious, nothing's happened, we'll come take a look. We'll identify it, whether it's what we consider a high life safety hazard or a minimum one. But the second part is, if we recommend evacuation, that is for all. You'll know if it's for certain parts, But if we say Paradise Valley, like the LNU, if it has to, everyone has to go, everyone has to go. I don't care if you live in the least affected house to the most affected. If it's the community, we just please ask that you get out and just listen to the professionals.
Yeah, hi. My question is really an extension of that one. Considering the grass fires around here and the way we took hold, fought them before, is there really need to evacuate this area?
There definitely could be. I don't think it's a secret how much the homeless, that we have a problem like all of the state, is that there's a lot of these small spot fires, and the bottom line is if there's a grass fire, I wouldn't evacuate unless you hear, because what happens is the minute we see that fire, there's notification goes throughout, and we already have spot on eyes within 7 minutes at the most, sometimes sooner. And if there is a need for evacuation, then we're sending that out in coordination with our PD, police department, all stakeholders involved, and we'll make that a public service announcement immediately.
I was wondering if you could do something official to give to Corey that says that the fire alarms in the houses, or I guess the apartments also, need to be changed regularly. We're not allowed to stand on ladders. We can't reach fire alarms in our houses. And in order to get management to do something, would you give something official to Corey to take the management and say, see, the fire department says they have to do this?
So, great question. When it comes to your own home residence, we recommend, it's hard for us to come in and say that you absolutely have to. We highly recommend it. But if anything is considered an apartment or commercial property, we certainly make sure, and we'll work with staff here and we'll talk with Corey, but they've been really great about letting us know. We are working some of the things to do. To your question is, we've looked at doing what we call smoke detector, smoke alarm declarations, where communities have to show and basically take responsibility that they have to make sure everyone has their smoke detectors replaced. But when it comes to your home, that's on the homeowner. If you're challenged with that, I just say that let me talk with Corey and see if we can't come to some agreement and to help you. But I didn't know that was an issue, but we'll do what we can to work with the staff here and see if we can't facilitate that for sure. You're welcome. And again, some of the things we're doing as well is we've just opened our newest engine company, the first in 28 years, 3-person engine company. They're housed out off of Gold Hill and Lopes Road, but we're building a brand new station out of Business Center Drive. So Fairfield Fire Department, for the first time in a long time, is starting to up its ranks, which is a good thing. I would say, to put your mind at ease, we are clearly the most professional trained department in Solano County. That's no disrespect to anyone surrounding, but facts are facts, and I feel strongly about that. You have the largest fire prevention bureau in the county. So again, we're tasked with day in, day out, making sure the community is safe from buildings, weed abatement, land, parcels, and that they're meeting current required fire and life safety standards. We're also taking an aggressive approach back to homeless with our safety inspection team, our HART team, that we're there and trying to provide services for these folks that are faced with, whether it's tough circumstances, drug addiction, mental illness. But the one thing I'd say is if we find an area that's deemed fire and life safety hazard, I have the ability with the power of the fire department, fire marshal's office, if we go out and find a place, they're there and they're creating havoc, we can get them cleaned up in 24 hours instead of a 72-hour notice. So the city's attempting to take a little more tougher stance with respect to still keeping within the requirements of the law, things. We want to help people. That is our number one goal. But we also want to protect people. And so it's a slippery slope, but I think we're progressing in the right way. Tyler, you got anything you'd like to add, or?
Just real quick, I'll kind of build off what he already answered for you guys' questions. Some of those are situational answers. So like, for example, the tree sitting back there, if the weed abatement's been done, everything's under our standard of 4 inches, the likelihood of one single tree or dead branch or something that's there kind of falls short of what we have in the entire city. We don't prioritize based on location, it's more so the risk, and you guys, with weed abatement in mind, you're gonna be okay.
I was just thinking about in the hill behind us, they abated for 100 feet, which was really great. It was weed whacker, but they didn't remove the dead weeds, as far as I know. I was wondering if that's okay.
That'll depend. Sometimes it's a strenuous process too. I know I've had people call in and they say, hey, my weeds are overgrown, and I talk to the contractor that's already on site and working towards it. I've had a lot of times where I just sprayed yesterday, I gotta let it die out, I gotta let it X, Y, and Z. I'm not sure of that current one. I don't want to speak to each individual without knowing, but with that said, I can look at it, see what we can do. It might just be in the process of we'll come back and collect. But with yours, your notification one, I just kind of want to build off what Steven had already answered for you. If you guys get, I don't know if anyone signed up for Nixle here. That's part of what I was going to tell you too. In the front desk, the reception desk has flyers that has a way you can sign up for notification. We use a system called Nixle. That's our best access, as well as your staff. They're trained and they know you guys will 100% be informed and aware of whatever's going on, but that's just another step and another way you can do that. With that said, Nixle would be your best bet. If you have any sort of notification saying to evacuate, you should evacuate, and that's our best recommendation. What you truly do is up to you, but as Steven said, leave it to the professionals. We're putting that notification out for a reason. If you're within that area, you should evacuate. As I said though, we have our flyers out front. Nixle is the best way to sign up. If you guys do nothing else, you can look at that, and then there's some wildfire tips, prevention kind of standards and efforts and references online you guys can all look up. So that's there for you guys. We left flyers on the front desk, and should be it. Thank you.
So just to close, again, thank you all for this opportunity to speak with you. We'll try to make it a annual thing. We have a brand new information sign going up off in North Texas by our Station 41. That will become a citywide kind of a communication. So if you ever drive by and see it and you see messages on that, that is for public education. The other thing in closing I'd like to remind everyone is red flag days. Humidity, high winds, high temperatures, dry conditions. When there has been a notification of a red flag day in Solano County, City of Fairfield, you cannot mow, weed whack, nothing. Not before 10, not at 6, nothing. So we're going to ensure that everyone's going to continue to be aware of that. We're going to announce those and be a little more aggressive. During red flag days, Rockville Park and all city-owned parcels, parks, areas, we're shutting down. So there's no more maybes, thinking about it, we'll leave this. It's shut down, it's shut down. So we're trying to be more aggressive. I don't think I have to explain why. It's crazy. It's still illegal to light any fireworks in Fairfield. We don't support it. We're never going to support it. And if you find out anyone's playing with the 4th of July coming up, please let our office know. The other thing, too, is that we are having our 4th of July parade again, so we still want to celebrate the holiday and see everyone come out. And, yeah, thank you all, and stay safe. Hope you have a great rest of your summer. And, again, thank you very much. If there's no other questions, we have to go to our next meeting. Thank you.
2018, the Nelson fire burned all the way to the fence at PVE, forcing the evacuation of the 4,000 block, Building 3,000, and the health center. Thanks in part to a shift in the wind, PVE was spared. By February of 2019, PVE had installed an exterior fire suppression system along the back fence behind Building 3000. On August 20th, 2020, fire struck again. The LNU Lightning Complex fire jumped Highway 80 and forced the evacuation of the entire site. The fire, however, never burned our property. Our fire suppression efforts, including this sprinkler system and our weed abatement efforts, have been successful in preventing fire from spreading onto our property. In this video, we're going to show you where the system is located and how to use it. So anytime, day or night, our team members will be able to activate the system and help to prevent fire from burning onto PVE.
So we have 2 of these valves in the ground. They'll both be indicated by a blue reflective sticker on the fence here. And open the lid, quarter turn of the handle, and just like down there, sprinklers will come up on this side of the fence and start shooting out to this property behind us here at PVE. So besides the 2 valves that I showed that turn on sprinklers, we also have a number of these locations where we can attach these water keys to the hose. You simply come over to one of these valves, which in the future will be indicated by some reflective sticks. Anyways, you just simply put the key in, turn it, and shortly you should have water coming from the hose. It is a very long hose. It may take a while for the water to get through. Here we are. So there are 2 deck boxes like this one, the one here behind 5716 and another one a little bit farther down the way. So we do have one more here. There is one more at the tip of this landmass, and then we have 2 more located in this general area. They're roughly 75 feet apart from each other. So with 100-foot hoses, there should be an overlap to where no area would not be able to be hit by water.
All right, just about to get there. So a lot of you are thinking, well, what about behind the 4,000 area and behind the ridge? Okay, so this is not only that, but behind the 4,000 area along the creek side as well, because that's an area that can catch on fire. Well, the system is being expanded to help go to those areas as well. So there will be, in the future, they're going to be behind the 4,000 area and along the fence on the ridge as well. So it's a big project. It's something that's going to take some time, but we are completely aware of it, and maintenance is hard at work trying to get that accomplished. So if we can get started here. So what we're going to talk about a little bit today is a little bit about what the PVE management team and team members are doing to prepare for wildfire season, which is all year round nowadays. It's no season anymore. And what we can do as the residents to help as well. All right, so what we're doing right now, what we have been doing recently is we've been reviewing all of the policies and procedures, going over them, taking out things that didn't make sense or seemed overly complicated. Who remembers the red and green flags? Okay, not a fan, right? No, not a fan. Neither was I. So last year when we got here, we looked over the policies and procedures, and we sat down at a table, we discussed them, and we were like, nobody likes this, it doesn't make sense, it seems overly complicated, what can we do to fix that? So those are the things that we've been doing. We've been looking at them and updating all of the policies and procedures. Along with that, we've been working with the fire department, who happened to show up today. We're very grateful for them. They're extremely busy. But we've been working with them on our communication, on what we're going to do in the event of an evacuation, in the event of a stay-in-place order, or whatever the case may be. And the key to this is having good closed-loop communication with them. Not only them, but with the Fairfield Police Department, who we've also built a good relationship with here at PVE. So understand that when these fires occurs, roadblocks will be in place at some points, and we'll discuss that a little further on. Some of the other things we've been working on is dealing with the land trust. I shouldn't say dealing, that seems so negative. Working with the land trust and the city of Vacaville, who owned all that hill area back there, and working on that weed abatement. So if you noticed, They did that 100-foot radius around the back perimeter over by the 6,000 area, that back behind the 4,000 area. That wasn't the city of Vacaville, by the way. That was actually Steve's, who was here, who did that and is billing the city of Vacaville for that because they didn't jump on that really quick. So they went ahead and took care of that for us to help alleviate some of the stress that we may be feeling here. And for good reason. The fires have gotten close every even year. So this is an even year. So we're looking out. We're trying to be proactive. Let's see. We've worked on, with the fire department, having the team members trained on how to use fire extinguishers. Our maintenance department has worked with the team members on how to use that fire suppression system. So we've been doing a lot of practicing around here. And all new employees that come in, we gather them up, we take them back there. It's one of the first things we show to a lot of them. Who here smelled smoke Saturday evening? You did, okay. Do you know where that fire was? It was on Highway 80. It was close enough to where we smelt the smoke right here. It's right past Manuel Campos Road going east on 80, just past that. So that's danger close, right? So your team contacted the MOD, they contacted me, we came out here, we did an assessment, we even went out to where the fire was just to make sure we were okay. Okay, we are actively engaged with the city, fire department, and police to take care of this. We're not playing games, we're not improvising, this is not hip pocket training, we're taking this very seriously. Along with that, we have a new landscape company. Who's aware of that? They're really awesome. I have to give them a high five every time I see them because they have good leadership. They're out there doing what they need to do. And who has seen the creek bed lately? They went out there 5 o'clock in the morning and cleared both sides of it. They did a fantastic job, and I think they deserve a hand. Give them a hand. So that's part of the weed abatement that's going on here. When you have professional contractors come onto a place like PVE, they give you a professional result. So I give them my hats off. Very good job to them. Let's see here. We've conducted team member training on the fire suppression system. I already discussed that. And we've done incident command training here. Incident command training here. Who here remembers the water in October? All right? I started a year ago. I was told, fire, fire, fire. We got to be prepared for fire. My first event here was a flood. I was like, wow, mind blown. But you know what? We were able to manage a real world situation, get enough team members here to help support and alleviate some of the flooding action. We got sandbags, we went to Home Depot, we had a system in place, we had an incident command center located in a community center, and we were able to send out team members to handle a lot of these situations. Was it perfect? No. But there's always room to grow on these things, and that's exactly why we're training. So since then, we've done incident command training as well, just to help improve the processes so people are aware when team members show up, there's less time wasted giving direction. All right. So this is what else we've been working with the Fairfield Fire Department. Now, in the case of the fire on Saturday on Highway 80, this may not apply, but in the 2020 fire, this would have applied. This is something we implemented last year. It's called a range map. And what it does, it kind of gives us, I took the policies and procedures out of the disaster manual and kind of placed them in an area of this range map. Okay, so we're looking at a 5-mile radius around Paradise Valley Estates, and this is more for the team members. So this is what we do in our internal processes in the event of a natural disaster, fire, earthquake, whatever the case may be. In this particular case, fire. So 5 miles out, what we're going to be doing, that's quite a bit of ways. That's like in the middle of Vacaville there. So 5 miles out, we're going to gather key management personnel. We're going to start sending out information over alert media. Who's familiar with alert media? Who here does not know what alert media is? Show of hands. Perfect, because we have some information for you to help make sure you understand what alert media is, how it's used, and why we have it here. Okay, so 5 miles out, we're gathering key personnel. We're putting out information via alert media. It could be something as simple as a shelter in place because there's smoke in the area, there's a fire. But what we're doing internally is we're looking for beds for skilled nursing. Okay, we're looking for beds for skilled nursing because that's going to be a population that's going to need the most assistance, okay? They're going to need us to be able to get them evacuated to a safe place. So we're looking at other skilled nursing facilities, places that we can place them. Assisted living as well. So these are where we're starting to look right now. We're looking for places to take them. We're starting to coordinate potential transportation, not necessarily putting that action in motion, but making sure we have communication with them in the event that they're needed, that they're aware where they're going, where they're coming to, and where they're being taken, where they're taking residents to. 4 miles out, we start rallying more personnel to discuss possible partial or full evacuations. With fire department is constantly feeding us information. That information goes through our communications director team, our communications team, and then that gets disseminated to the residents as well via alert media, which we'll get into in just a second. So at that point, if needed, we start bringing in more personnel. 3 miles out, if the evacuation order is given by the fire department, at this point, it would be in full swing. We'd start with all of the people that need to get out, that need the assistance to get out. Everybody else, we'd start shuttling around, and we'll get into this, shuttling around to get them to the community center, which is going to be our assembly point, so that we can shuttle them out if you're not driving out under your own power, your own vehicle, whatever the case may be. 2 miles out. This allows us, we have very minimal people on site as far as residents go. This is where the team gets together and we're starting to do final walkthroughs. We're checking to see all units are clear. We're securing all units. We're turning off gas mains at that point, and we're getting accountability of our team members as well so that we can release them so that they can go to a safe area as well. Then we leave a minimal footprint here at the last resort, 1 mile out, hopefully. The site should be evacuated, at least partially or fully, depending on the situation, and only non-essential team members would be staying in place at that point. Okay, so that's kind of a breakdown of the internal processes via the disaster manual in a nutshell. Okay, it goes into a lot more detail, and that situation may not always play out that way. Like I stated earlier, there was a fire on Saturday right on the freeway. So that's not 5 miles out. That's danger close. Okay, but your team was here that night evaluating the situation, doing perimeter checks, making phone calls, checking with the fire department, going to the freeway and getting eyes on. That's what your team was doing. All right. So alert media, for those who are not familiar with it, this is what it is. It's PVE's own emergency notification. It's similar to what governments use for like Amber Alerts and so forth to put out information to the masses. Okay, the system sends out emails, texts, voice messages, all of that stuff, and it goes to your cell phones. It'll leave you, like I said, an email. It'll leave you to your house phone. It'll leave a message if you don't answer. So it's difficult not to get information using this system. It was launched in 2019, and during an incident and situation or an emergency, the security stays in a close contact with the police department and fire department. If the situation warrants, the security team activates PVE's incident command system, where we'll start gathering information. Part of that team is the communication team. And as we're getting fed information, that information is being fed to all of you as soon as we get it. And it's pretty much as soon as we get it, they can send out a message. One of the cool things about alert medias is that there's an option that the communication team, when they send you a message, they could give you the option to respond back. And some of those responses could be, I need help, click 1, or I do not need help, click 2. They could be a lot more elaborate than that. But you could send simple responses like that via alert media simply by responding to the text message you receive or email or voice message. Let's see. That's by using the survey function. If you don't answer the phone, the system is going to leave you a message regardless, unless you have that number blocked. Now, it sends these messages out through many, many different numbers. So you may not recognize that number. But if you do get an alert media message, try and save that number to your phone so the next time it pops up, you might see an alert media associated with that. And you won't think it's spam. All right, so when they launched the alert media system, they had to reconcile data from 3 different databases. This is just a little history on it. When they put the new processes in place to ensure ongoing maintenance, maintenance is accurate. When changes occurred, new resident, I can't read that, internal moves, new hires, sorry, I don't have my glasses. I do this a lot, by the way, no glasses. I don't want to believe I need glasses. Anyways, what this is showing is a before and after effect. So if you look on the right side, when they were working off 3 different databases, you can see there were a lot of, failed messages. Okay, a lot of failed messages. Once they refined and improved the process, the failed messages went down a lot. So the system is getting better and better the more we put it. But that's going to require getting your information to our communications team to make sure they have your contact info. If they don't have it, it's not going to work for you. So please, sometime soon, get Jeff that information if you have not done so already, especially our new residents. All right, so it uses multiple phone numbers like I stated, and you may not recognize those numbers. And as a result, the number comes from different area codes, okay? In order to differentiate alert media calls, text from spam, you have to add the number to your phone. So save it. Save it as much as you can. All right, and all of the messages are going to begin with a Paradise Valley Estates important message. So when you see a text message, that's standard across the board. All right, so who's here read the Friday Flash? Good, good. Anybody see what was in there in regards to alert media? All right, so we're putting out that information to make residents aware, and if you are on your computer or on your phone, you can actually click the link to be able to add or click certain links on the page to be able to see more information on it. So I highly suggest you look at it if you haven't in the Friday Flash, click the links, update your information so that we can make sure you're on the lists. All right, so how can you prepare? Let me, does this black out?
The square, bottom square.
Bottom square. All right, what can you do to prepare? Anybody? For fire season? Yeah, anybody? A go bag, absolutely. What else? Outstanding. Know where you're going, okay? First and foremost, we need to know where we're going, right? We shouldn't know it the day of the fire. We should know it now. We should know it now and have more than one place to go, right? So we need to plan alternative driving routes. So here's the deal. When a fire occurs, the time to leave, if you're able to do so, you don't need any assistance, the time to leave is before the actual evacuation order. The reason why I say that, because when you wait for the evacuation order, a lot of times, a lot of the egress routes are going to be blocked. They're going to be roadblocks by police and by fire. They're not going to let you through that way. Obviously, it's for life safety reasons. So by leaving early, you save yourself a headache, you save your family members a headache and friends that you're out safe and a lot of the roads are not going to be blocked. Some people people in general tend to be creatures of habit. I drive the exact same route home every single day. If I deviate from that route, I call my wife to let her know I'm taking another route in case something happens to me. Never know. But I'm kind of a creature of habit. I kind of stick to my routes, my known routes. Okay, so when you plan your routes, always plan a secondary. If you can, plan a third route around. And if you can't get to East 80, you may have to go someplace down West 80. Just be prepared. These are things that we can do to prepare. So if you don't have a location to go to, a lot of people just moved to California. Maybe you don't have friends or family here yet. If you don't have a place to go to, you can always go to the evacuation centers. Yes, sir.
When will we be notified where the evacuation center is? Because there's 10 options.
Yeah, absolutely. So there are 10 options. You're absolutely correct. And I have a map of that, and we'll be emailing this map out to everybody. Now, when the city gives us the order to evacuate, they're going to provide us with the evacuation locations. At that point, that'll be sent out via alert media. And as we gather up personnel who need assistance and stage everybody at the community center, we'll be notified on which one we're taking them to. So yeah, absolutely. All right, so while the chances of evacuating are slim, the possibility of receiving a situation report, shelter in place order, or even an evacuation order do exist. Okay, it's just a fact of life here in California nowadays. There is a possibility. It is slim. So, residents choosing to leave without an evacuation order officially in place are highly encouraged to do so. All that does is save time, manpower, and lessens the likelihood of you running into a roadblock. Okay, so that does help a lot. Now, a lot of people say, oh, we have 2 gates now, right? Last year we only had 1 gate, and that gate is monitored 24/7. So the Ridge Gate doesn't have someone standing there 24/7. So if you happen to go out of the 6,000 area gate, well, what do? How are you supposed to contact somebody? Once again, you can respond via the alert media. You can state, I am at my location, I am safe, unit number, right? Nice simple ways to do this. You can call the security gate. You can call the health center. There's different options for you to let us know you're safe. But do so once you get to your location so that we can verify that you are safe. It is appreciated for accountability purposes. We want to make sure we can get everybody out of here safely, or if you leave on your own power, we want to make sure we know that you are safe. All right. In the event PVE is ordered to evacuate, remember, and you did wait till the evacuation order, which is fine. That's an option as well. You waited till the evacuation order, just be aware, as I stated again, I can't stress this enough, there are going to be roadblocks. There were roadblocks in 2020. There's going to be roadblocks again, depending on which way the fire is coming towards us. They don't want anybody going in that area, so they will block off that area, and you may have to find an alternate route, and that's why I stress more than one way out, more than one way out. I can't stress that enough. All right, if you're able to leave without any assistance, once again, let us know that you're safe once you get to your location. Or if you happen to pass by the man gate, let the security know. They'll annotate that down and we'll take accountability. They'll pass that information up. All of this is being tracked via the Incident Command Center on who's going where, when, how, and so forth. All right, well, what if you need assistance and you can't drive on your own? Or anything like that. Maybe you're injured, whatever the case may be. Well, if you can't gather your pets and your spouses and so forth, we ask that you stay in place. Okay? Let us know. You can even press your what are they called? Your pendants as well, and that'll let us know that you need assistance. Okay? You can press one of the options on the alert media stating that you need assistance. There's multiple avenues of approach for this. Okay, if you can walk to an assembly area, we ask that you do so because we're going to be sending out trams or buses around campus to pick everybody up that can walk and get to an assembly area and bring them to the community center so that we can prepare them for movement to an evacuation center. All right, so you want to gather your stuff. You want to exit your homes and close your doors, but don't lock it. Why? Why do I say don't lock it? Yes, we have to make sure you're not in there, right? But people say that's where all my stuff is. Right? That's where all my stuff is, sir.
After you check our houses, you leave the door open, you check our houses, will you lock the door with your pass key?
Absolutely. Now, this is what I'm saying. This is how it breaks down. Let's say it takes approximately 5 seconds for a team member to unlock your door, check, get out, lock it. Let's say 5 seconds. That's a very short estimate. It's going to take a little longer than that. Let's say we have 500 units here. Okay, break that down, do the math. It's about 41 minutes of time just unlocking doors. How many people can we evacuate in 41 minutes that need assistance? Simply because you left your door unlocked, right? We checked out. If it's unlocked, we can get in there faster. We can save more people. We can help more people. 41 minutes may not seem like much, but it's quite a bit of time when there's a fire coming. All right? So, after we do our clear and sweep to make sure units are clear and vacant, the team will put some blue tape on there. That has nothing to do with you guys. That's something we do to let the police and fire department know that this has been searched and is clear. Okay? We, in turn, will lock the door at that point. Once it has been verified, we will lock that door. Your home will be secured. And once we minimize that footprint, one of the last things we do again is do another check of the facilities to make sure everything is secure. There are well over 500 units here, okay? But we will make sure every single one of them are secure in your absence. So, if you can, under your own power, proceed to your assembly area. Now, a lot of people may not know where the assembly area is. Who does not know where their assembly area is? Oh, that's good. All right. Well, we'll get into that. We want to make sure we stay away from emergency vehicles. We don't want them we don't want to be out in the road or anything like that because vehicles may be flying by in case of emergency. We want to make sure they're clear areas for them to maneuver. All right, so what if I can't see very well or I don't drive, right? Those are possibilities. I admit I don't see very well. I should be wearing my glasses, but I do drive. All right, so we ask that you go to that closest assembly point. Once again, I'm going to show you where those are. If you can't get there, we ask that you respond to your alert media or press your pendant for assistance. And then someone will be there. So where is my closest assembly point for my area? So if you look at the 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 buildings, your assembly point is going to be right outside in the parking lot, okay? Not in the roundabout because we need to be able to keep that clear for vehicles and buses and trams to get around there to be able to shuttle people over to the community center, okay? 4,000 area, it's gonna be your mailbox kiosks. That's where we ask that you meet for the trams, for the buses, to pick you up, to move you over to the community center. This is if you are able to get there under your own power. 5,000 area, same things. It's going to be all of the mailbox kiosks. 6,000 area, here's where there's a little variance here because it doesn't have mailbox kiosks in the area. So the north portion over by building 61, 62, that little parking lot where you got that new electric vehicle charger, there's an assembly point there. The two little parking lots, one on either side by the fire pit, there's evacuation points there. Whoops. Down on the southern end, you have in the 20, I believe it's 21, 22 or something like that, the little U area. There's an evacuation point there. And if you happen to be in the Oak Room over on, Patriot Plaza and the back parking lot, those are also evacuation points. So those are staging areas where we want you guys to go in the event of a fire that if you need assistance, that we can send the shuttles to pick you up and move you to the community center so that you can get onto a bus that will take you to the evacuation center. All right, so this I can't stress enough. In the event of a fire and roadblocks are already in place, please let your family and friends know, do not try to come here. Have them meet you at an evacuation point. Or if you don't drive, have them meet you at an evacuation point. That is going to save them so much stress trying to get here. Let us do our jobs. Let us get you someplace safe. Let your family meet you there so that they're safe as well. There's no need to bring them into harm's way. If you want to bring your families here to pick you up, the time to do so isn't when the evacuation order is given. It's way before that. If you feel that you need to go, trust your gut. Go. Trust your gut. All right, so what do I need to bring with me? Now, this cannot be tailored to, I can't tailor this to a specific person for everybody here on campus because there's just a lot of people here. A lot of this stuff is going to be based on what you feel you need. All I can do is offer some suggestions, and here they are. So IDs, of course, you have your wallets, your purses. If you want to bring water, make sure you don't have to have that in your go bag. You could have it in the trunk of your vehicle. If you're leaving by one of the buses, you don't need to bring water. We'll take care of that for you. Battery-powered hand crank radios, if you choose to. Extra batteries for devices that you need, absolutely. If you have medications, make sure you have some medication for yourself that'll last you a few days, because you may need that. Now, chargers for your cell phones. That's a big one. Cell phones are kind of a big deal around the world nowadays. Everybody needs them. Everybody uses them. So make sure you have your chargers for them. Flashlights, yeah, absolutely. First aid kits, so I have a first aid kit in my car and a flashlight and an e-tool, because you never know when you're going to need that. Never know. And N95 masks. Okay, smoke. Okay, there's smoke in the air. You don't need to breathe that. Stuff is bad. Bring N95 mask, some sort of blanket or sleeping bag if you're out there driving on your own to your designated location. Toiletries, hygiene bags, things of that nature. And of course, you want to make sure you have a list of your important family and friends. So you have phone numbers in case your cell phone dies. Who here remembers every number in their cell phone? I don't. I don't even know my wife's number. I have to look at the phone, and that's shame on me. I should know that one. So, if you're new to PVE and haven't done so already, once again, I ask you get with our communications department and give them your contact information, so that way they can add you to the alert media list. So here are some of the evacuation points. Now, these are not all. There's many other evacuation points in the city of Fairfield, Vacaville, Benicia, Vallejo, whatever the case may be, in Solano County. There's many other ones, but these are the ones that we have listed here. And depending on what the fire department tells us, will determine on which one we go to. And we will have someone taking accountability of you at the community center and taking accountability of you as you get off the bus at the evacuation center. Okay, we're verifying, keeping that good closed loop communication once again to make sure we don't miss anybody. All right, one of the things that's super important, some of you guys are sneaky. I remember when the Ridge was being built, how many residents were going back there and then telling me about this things that they noticed. I'm like, well, why are you back there? It's still a construction zone. But needless to say, some of you guys can be pretty sneaky and get by some of these roadblocks that the fire department, police department may have set up. If you do so and you get to the front gate, which I hope you choose not to, we will not let you in until the fire department states that we can. Okay, there will be an active investigation going on, and we are not allowed to let you in. When the time comes for you to be allowed to return home, we will send you an alert media message stating so. So that's very important. Don't cause yourself a headache. Don't cause poor security team unnecessary stress by saying, I'm sorry, I can't let you in, and then you're furious at them. This is my house. I'm sorry, the city said we can't let you in. If the city says no, it's no. All right. This is where we get some of our information from, along with the Fairfield Fire Department, Fairfield Police Department. And if you guys have any questions, this is the time. Any questions? Perfect. Wonderful. Thank you. Well, we appreciate your time. Oh, we have a question right here.
Corey, I know you plan for everything, but suppose I'm out shopping and there's an incident that my dog is home. When you see a dog in a house or a pet, any kind of pet, what do you plan to do?
We'll take that pet.
So you have containers to put them in?
We don't, but we will take them and bring them to the community center. Absolutely.
Have you considered making short little cards that summarize this stuff for people that have short memories?
I received an email on that, and I read it this morning, and I like that idea, something that we could put in your mailboxes that kind of summarizes this, and we'll make sure that happens. Yeah.
You talked about the fire suppression system sprinklers pointed outward at the dry areas in the hills. Are those currently in place in the 6,000 area and the 6,100, 6,200, or will they be added later?
So that is a project that we have identified the need for, and it is in the process of being started. It has not been started just yet. But we do identify that there is a need for it behind the 4,000 area, behind the 6,000 area, and even on the creek side of the 4,000 area where there's a lot of dry brush. So that's something, it is not there right now, but it will be there soon.
This is just something that I did myself, is I made sure that I put security's phone number in my contacts on my cell phone, so I don't have to worry about it. I think that's a good idea for other people too.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Give us a call, make sure you have it. If you don't have it, we can get it to you.
I believe we're supposed to take our packet of papers that are on our refrigerator to evacuate as well. I didn't see that on your list, but you may consider that. And
Absolutely.
also for an internal red flag service, have you considered, since it's summertime and holiday season, a lot of us barbecue, and would you think about maybe putting out a command that says no barbecue on these days because of red flag, internal red flag or whatever?
You're trying to get me hated, but yes, we could definitely do that. Absolutely. No, that makes a lot of sense. We can, I believe our communication team has the capability of making sure everybody is aware it's a red flag day, and that's something we can definitely do.
Corey, I work with a lot of people with iPads, iPhones, that kind of thing. It's not so easy to do alert media, and maybe Nancy would think about a little training session to how to set up your iPhone, how to put your numbers in there, how to be sure it's working. So maybe some training in that would be good.
Absolutely. Training's always gonna, I will never say no to training. Anybody needs training, and it's something PVE team can assist with. I'm sure we'd all be more than happy to do so. So that's something we can look into. All right, well, listen, I really appreciate you all being here, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you.